Let us now continue with what we had been discussed in the previous session. The anecdote written by Amy Hilborn was our topic of discussion. We to tell the following manner. She feels dessert called the yogurt because it is very hot. So she decides to walk in the afternoon to the neighboring cafe. So since she cannot go alone, she calls her friend also to come with her. So both of them go to the neighborhood cafe. As they were walking along on the street, they saw a woman, an old woman, carrying a grocery cart full of beauty salon items. So the old lady carrying these things did not have a very good appearance, and people were avoiding her because she was an old woman and not so strong. Somehow her feet knocked against the cart, and the cart fell down. It fell down, and all the cosmetic items that she was carrying, they were scattered on the pavement. Nobody came near to help her because of her peculiar appearance. And Amy and her friend were actually going in the opposite direction. Amy looked at her friend and asked whether she should help. And the response of the friend was, it was the response of the friend. Amy asked her whether we should help this old woman. So how did the friend respond to Amy's question? That's right, not to do anything. So we don't have to do anything. Because so she gives many reasons why we should not do anything. First reason is that we have not caused her the trouble. We have not knocked her cart down. Second reason is somebody else will help. If we don't help, somebody else will help. And she appears to be capable of doing all these things by herself. So why should we help? So this is the response of her friend. But Amy feels in her heart that without helping, if I go, it will not be right. It will be wrong. So she decides to go near the lady and tries to help her. And that is where I think that is somewhere we stopped in the previous session. Yes. So when she tried to help the old woman, to the utter shock of Amy, she tells Amy that I don't want your help, go away. He's actually asking her to go away from her. She doesn't want anybody's help. That is what she says. So this, by hearing this response, usually when we are in trouble, if somebody helps us, we actually would be happy to receive that help because we need help. So the old woman also obviously needs a lot of help here in this situation. It's not that she doesn't need help. She needs help, but due to some reason, she says, I don't want your help. So she asks her to go away. So listening to this response, Amy is shocked. And the friend also has a very expression of mocking expression I already told you don't not to involve yourself in unnecessary things. I told you to mind your own business. So see what happens. So this kind of response is given by the friend, and now it is again Amy's decision whether she should continue to help or should go away from that place. So this is the decision that Amy had to take because her friend has now been, I mean, her offer for help is now being rejected by the lady. So we don't know what will happen if she persists. She decides to continue to help the woman. So if she decides to continue to help the woman, she may again be thrown away. We don't know. So she is in a confused state because her friend is already having this expression that I told you so. See, glaring with her arms folded smugly against her. This is the friend of Amy looking at her in an arrogant manner. Haughtily means arrogantly. So she is arrogantly standing by putting her arms across her chest. This is an expression of I told you so. I already told you not to involve in unnecessary things. I already told you to mind your own business. So now you understand what happens if you don't follow my advice. So it serves you right. So it serves you right. So that kind of expression is in there in the way she is standing, the friend of Amy, the way she stands with her arms across her chest. It's a kind of expression of a mocking expression. She is mocking Amy. She is making fun of Amy. So in such a situation, if we were in such a situation, we also discussed that if suppose in our life we come across such a situation where we try to help somebody and they reject our help, many people responded that from then we will not help anybody in future also. If we get a bad experience while helping somebody, then we will stop helping. That is what normally happens. But here Amy decides not to do that. She decides not to go back. She decides to go persist. Persist means to continue to do some effort. That is called persistence. So this is what Amy decides to do. She persists in her uh, the lady, and therefore she goes to the lady and says, "See, I want to help you. I want to continue to help you." So this is not an ordinary response of somebody when somebody is rejecting our help. So that is the paragraph we have to read now. This paragraph. Okay. Number 44, Niduna Katie. Number 44 ഉണ്ടോ? 44 ദുന KT. Number 33, Gia.
Yes, sir. Hello.
വായിച്ചോളൂ.
No, I want to help you. Can you put cap of bottles? It to be cards. The lady peered at me as through, though I was crazy. Maybe I was, but I that supposed to help. She did not stop me this time, so helped her put away the rest of her items. I was stunned by how many people walked by and hopped over certain desired items in their paths, not even offering a sympathetic word or glance. What astonished me even more was when a cute guy whom I had liked for as long as could remember was one of the uncaring selfish people who stalled by. I was embarrassed by his reaction when he first saw me in uh, humiliating situation, and then disgusted by his self-centered attitude.
Thank you, Gia. So here there are some difficult words. Peer means to glare or to stare, etc. There is another word in the same text which means glare. All these have the same meaning. To peer at somebody, to glare at somebody, to stare at somebody. Why is she staring? So she thinks that this girl must be crazy. The old woman is thinking that Amy is crazy for helping her even after rejecting. So usually when somebody rejects help, that person will go away. But here, Amy is persisting to help. So the old woman thinks that maybe this is a mad woman. Maybe she is crazy. So Amy understood the meaning of her look, but Amy decides to remain a crazy person. Sometimes it is required to be a crazy person in the world to survive. We have to behave as if we are crazy people. Craziness is sometimes required. So she says, maybe I was a crazy person. I must be a crazy person to help somebody when I am rejected and they reject my help. But I knew, see, this is why did she help? It is not according to whether what people will say, whether people will appreciate me when I help somebody. നമ്മളതൊക്കെ നോക്കിയിട്ടാണ് ആളുകളെ ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്യുക. ആളുകൾ നമുക്ക് നമ്മളെ റെക്കഗ്നൈസ് ചെയ്യുമോ, നമ്മളെ അഭിനന്ദിക്കുമോ, നമുക്ക് വല്ല അവാർഡ് തരുമോ, നമ്മളെ വിളിച്ചൊരു പ്രൈസ് തരുമോ? So there are some reasons for doing everything. People helping others. പേപ്പറിൽ പേര് വരും, ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്തു. So people do help for many reasons. Here she is not doing such a help for any name or fame. Sometimes when you help, people will think that you are mad. Then you are never likely to help. But here she knows that if she helps, everybody will think her to be mad, including the person who is receiving a help. The old woman who is receiving her help, even she will think that Ami is mad. Yet she decides to help. Why? Because what is the reason she gives? She says, I knew that I was supposed to help her. That is my duty to help her. So I understand that. When I understand that it is my duty to help, then I help the woman. So here there is a change that happens. When she persists to help, when she decides to continue to help, the old woman does not stop her this time. So the first time she stopped her, thinking that it is the way all people will try to help. But when somebody rejects your help and she continues to help, this is not an ordinary woman. So the old woman does not stop her, and then Amy helped her put in all the things that were scattered in the payment into the cart. And then Amy observes the people who are passing by. See, I was stunned. To be stunned means to be shocked. She was shocked by the kind of people who just walk by the woman who is in trouble. We also see such scenes in our roads. Happens. There are not many people who stop and try to help. Instead, there are people who will slow down their vehicles to see what has happened. Some accident happens, if you observe, people will slow down their vehicles to see what has happened, but hardly anyone will step out of their vehicle to help. Interested in watching things like movies, not really willing to help somebody. So here also, she is stunned, she is shocked, because she is a small woman, a small child. She is shocked to see that so many people are walking on the street. They don't have any heart at all to help this woman. And what are they doing? Even as they are walking by these things which are scattered in the pavement, hope over. So the people who are walking on the pavement, they jump over these things that are scattered on the pavement, and they don't care anything to help the woman. They pretend as if it is not their work at all. So that is why she is shocked. And what are they doing? These people are all jumping over the things that are scattered on the pavement without offering any sympathetic word or means look, glance. The next word, astounded, also means shocked. So the next thing that shocked her was that a young man, a cute man, who the narrator had liked for a long time, was one of the uncaring, selfish people who strolled by. Strolled means walked by. Stroll means to walk. So one person who walked without caring was a cute guy. The narrator was always had an affection for this guy. So people who appear to be very cute, here she mentions her as a cute person. Somebody who appears to be very cute need not be very cute at heart. So it is not by appearance that we should judge people. We should not judge people by their appearances. So that is one thing that we can understand from this lesson, that we should not judge people by their appearance can be deceptive. So let us not get carried away by appearances. So she says that she was embarrassed by this reaction. Embarrassed means to be affected. Embarrassment is mean when you feel uncomfortable in certain situation, feeling shy. That feeling of shyness is called embarrassment. Embarrassed means felt shy. This is what she felt when she saw his reaction, when he saw him in a humiliating situation, and then she felt anger. Okay. Disgust, disapproval. Disgust. She feels disgust towards this man who was a self-centered attitude. Self-centered attitude means selfish attitude. So we understand the behavior of people only when you see them in action. When help is required, how do they behave? That is when we understand the real behavior of people. People may talk well, people may look very nice, people may have very good appearances, but when it comes to deeds, when it comes to actions, how do they behave? That is when we really understand the character of people. So Amy helps this old woman put the things back into the cart, and she notices that even as she is helping, ഒരാൾ ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ കൂടെ ചെന്ന് ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോലും ആരും തയ്യാറല്ല. So even when the narrator is going and helping, nobody helps. Nobody goes near her and helps. So she is doing all the help alone. Everything is put back into the cart only by Amy and the old woman. The old woman is not able to do many things because she is an old woman. So Amy is the only person on the street who is helping this old woman. The next paragraph is about how she completes the task and how the old woman responds. So that is this next paragraph. Sivya, we are.
Yes, sir.
Please read that.
When the last item was put back into the cart, I slowly rose to my feet, flinching as the lady awkwardly stood as well. I supposed she would walk by without looking at me, but then I realized I was guilty of misjudging her character. I waited as she straightened her bent head, sniffed, and slowly peered up at me. Her large, dejected eyes were filled with a wonder I could not express in words, as an innocent tear dribbled down her ashen cheek. I was sure I could see a hint of a smile.
Thank you, Sivya. So all the things are put back into the cart, and then narrator says that she rose to my feet. To rise to your feet means it's a phrase. To rise to one's feet means to stand up. So what was she doing till now? She had been kneeling down on the street to pick up these items. Now she stands up. So that is the meaning of I rose to my feet. And when you suddenly rise to your feet, you don't get a balance. So that is why she says I flinched. Flinching means kind of sudden shock when you are unable to stand properly. So the lady, the old woman also has a difficulty standing. That's why she says she is awkward means does not stand properly. Standing awkwardly. She also stood awkwardly. Awkward means not proper, improper way. So after helping, she stands up. The old woman also stands up because there's nothing left on the street now. Everything is back into the grocery cart. So the narrator thinks that the old woman will walk by without looking at me. Why does she expect the old woman to just go away without looking at her? She expects that the old woman will not even look at her and she will just go away. What is the reason for such an expectation? Why does she expect that she will just go away? See, so also say anything now, she will just go away. So this is also something that we have to think about. We'll come back to this later. So says that I was guilty of cat. See, so this was her judgment that she's a woman. But suddenly the narrator realizes that she had misjudged her character. We also do some misjudgments of people. Just because somebody behaved in a particular way at a particular time does not mean that their character is that. നമുക്ക് അങ്ങനെ ഒരു പ്രശ്നമുണ്ട്. പൊതുവെ മനുഷ്യർക്കുള്ള പ്രശ്നമാണ്. ഏതെങ്കിലും സമയത്ത് ഒരു പ്രത്യേക രീതിയിൽ ഒരാൾ പെരുമാറി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അതാണ് അയാളുടെ സ്വഭാവം എന്ന് ചിന്തിക്കുന്നത് ശരിയല്ല. So people may behave differently in different situations, but we should not have any judgment that this person is good or bad. There is no person who is good or bad. They may behave in a good manner or in a bad manner. The same person can behave in a good manner. The same person can also behave in a bad manner. But that does not make them a good person or a bad person. See, this is the kind of judgment that we make. So therefore she says, I realized, I understood that I was guilty of misjudging. Misjudging means to wrongly judge. I wrongly judged her character as bad, as rude. That is what I thought. I here is the narrator Amy. So she thought that this old woman is a rude woman. But suddenly I understood that my calculation, my judgment is wrong. Because how did I understand that? She, the old woman, she looked up, slowly peered up at me. Peering means looking. We already discussed that word. She is an old woman, so she has difficulty straightening herself. She straightened her head slowly and looked up at her. Sniffling is a movement of breathing because of she has been sitting down. She has just now had a minor accident. So that kind of breathing is indicated here by her sniffling. And she slowly looks up at her. Her large dejected eyes were filled with a wonder I couldn't express in words. So this describes her character, the character of the old woman. Suddenly she sees the narrator, Amy sees something in that old woman which she had not seen so far. ഇതുവരെ കാണാത്തത് എന്തോ ആ ഓൾഡ് വുമണിൽ കാണുന്നു. What does she see? That is why this chapter is also titled Stranger Within. That's the title of this. It's not with. No, G here. Within. Okay. The stranger within means the stranger inside. The character of the old woman is now revealed to Amy. So her large dejected eyes. Dejected means so opposite of expect. So she feels dejected with life. There is no hope in her life. That is why her eyes are dejected. So that dejected eyes suddenly changed. It was filled with a wonder I couldn't express in words. We said in the previous session also that eyes are the windows of the soul. So the eyes of the old woman were filled with a wonder that the narrator is unable to express in words. Then dribbled down her ashen cheek. Dribble means to roll down, rolling. ashen means gray, the color of ash. Gray. And she says, I could even see a hint of a smile. So nobody has seen the old woman smiling, but now Amy could see a smile on her face. Suddenly her face changed. And the rude woman suddenly got transformed. And that is how the transformation happens. Her face changes, her eyes, there is a kind of surprise in her face. There is a wonder in her face, and then a tear rolls out of her eyes. And then the lady, the old woman, even thanks the narrator. Okay. Okay, next paragraph. Rohini, yes.
Hello.
Yes, please read that.
Thank you, she whispered in a hushed tone. My throat tightened and tears threatened to fall down my cheeks. You are welcome, I murmured, offering a smile. And you know what? She smiled then, and beautiful peacefulness washed over her once stern countenance. I grinned widely as she cordially nodded her head and continued down the street, slowly creeping out of my life as quickly as she had appeared. Yet I knew that her smile and gratefulness would always be imprinted upon my life and heart.
Thank you, Rohini. So the old woman, who the narrator did not expect even to look at her, the old woman had tears in her eyes, and she also said thank you to the narrator. And the narrator also is touched, and tears are also there in her eyes, in the eyes of the narrator. And she says, you are welcome. And somebody says, thank you. This is a common response that we give. You are welcome, she says. And she also smiled. And she is asking us, and you know what happened next? See, the narrator is asking the reader, she says, the old woman smiled, really smiled, and there was a beautiful peacefulness on her once stern countenance. Countenance means face. Stern means strict appearance, having a strict appearance, stern face. So her stern face suddenly became so soft and smiling. This is the kind of transformation that happens and actually brings out the stranger inside the old woman. So the stranger is actually a good woman inside of the old woman. So that's why this chapter is titled The Stranger Within. So we are able to see the real woman inside the stern face of this old woman. So the stern face outside, the bad face outside is actually not real. The real person is revealed to the narrator in this experience. and she grinned. The narrator grinned. Grinning means smiling very wide with your lips almost touching your ears. That is grinning. And she cordially nodded her head. So here now the old woman is very pleasant, very well behaved. Cordially nodded her head and walked down the street, and she disappeared from her life. And this created a lot of impression upon the narrator. So this experience, she says, it will always be imprinted upon my life and heart. Means this has influenced me a lot. That I understood that I should not judge anybody by their external appearance or even behavior. Appearance, everybody knows that we should not judge people by appearance, but even behavior can sometimes be misleading. That is what we understand from this experience. It is not over. There is one more paragraph. And this is actually the lesson that she learns from this experience, which is narrated in the final paragraph. Abhirami, AP.
Hello, sir.
Yes, right.
When I finally had my frozen yogurt and my friend was still complaining about the embarrassment I had caused her, I felt gratitude well up within me. At the very moment, I didn't care anymore what other people thought. I was going to do the right thing, even if it meant losing or embarrassing my friends. I smiled to myself because even though I had helped that lady in such small way, she had helped me more by showing me how I could be different in the world and how good that could feel.
Thank you, Abhirami. So this is what what she learns, the narrator learns. But the learning happens only to the narrator, because the friend is still complaining. See, only when we are involved, we will evolve. Only the people who are involved will get the experience. Everybody will not get the realization. The friend was there with her. She watched everything that happened, but she does not understand anything. Who will understand? The person who will involve will understand. That's why it says, there is a saying, if you involve, you will evolve. Okay, this is a saying. So she is involved, and therefore she has this understanding, but the friend is still complaining that that the narrator caused her a lot of embarrassment, a feeling of shyness, being in the situation of helping an old woman on the street. People are all watching you. That feeling of shyness is called embarrassment. But what does the narrator feels? Narrator feels gratitude inside her. She feels gratitude. Towards whom? Not towards the friend, but towards somebody else. It is towards the old woman. At that very moment, I didn't care anymore what other people thought. So this is what we think. We always think what other people will think. All our actions are based on what other people will think. Here she decides, here she understands that from this experience, she understands that from this moment, I am not going to consider what other people will think. Let other people go to hell with their thoughts. I will continue to do what is the right thing. So that is what is most important. We have to do what is right, not what other people will think or whether I will lose my friend, etc. So she says, this is a very touching sentence. She says, even though I had helped the lady in such a small way, so my help is not a big thing. Some things had fallen on the street. I helped the old woman in a very small way. She had not spent any money. She had not even spent a lot of time, even a few minutes perhaps. But she says that the lady has helped me more. So I have not helped the old woman. This is what the Ami is feeling. This is the Ami is feeling. Ami is feeling that I have not helped the old woman, but the old woman has helped me. അതെങ്ങനെയാണ്? ശരിക്കും അമ്മിയല്ലേ ആ ഓൾഡ് വുമണിനെ ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്തത്. അപ്പൊ ഇപ്പൊ അമ്മി പറയണു ഞാൻ the old woman helped me more. Why does she say that? Why does she say that the old woman helped me? Exactly. Because she understood, she got valuable lessons from her experience. So this is what she has understood. So she has developed the understanding. So understanding is not something that easily develops. When somebody develops understanding, somebody standing beside will not get that. By ourselves. So this lessons that she got from the old woman. So she has got valuable lessons from the experience. This experience has taught her many things. She has developed understanding because of interacting with this old woman. That is why she is feeling grateful to the old woman. So she says, she has helped me. The old woman has helped me by showing me how I could be different in the world. So being different in the world is not easy. So for teaching me that, how to be different in the world and how that can make you happy. When we do a good deed, that nothing else will give. Eating an ice cream or eating a yogurt cannot give us so much happiness as the happiness that we get out of helping somebody. Who will understand that? Only a person who has helped. Only a person who has helped will understand the kind of happiness that we get out of helping others. So this is the realization that she gets because of this experience of helping this old woman. So that is this experience or the anecdote that she narrates. I repeat that it is not a story. That's why we are not referring to it as a story. It is an experience taken from a book which is written by Amy Hilborn, Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul, on Love and Friendship. She is an American writer. Amy Hilborn is an American writer. And it is from her experience that she narrates this anecdote. So that is it. We come to the end of this chapter. We will take up the rest of the things in the next class. So thank you so much for joining. Have a nice afternoon. Goodbye.